Yes, thank you. So I'll call the meeting to order.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I muted. Okay.
And Dave, are you with us?
I am here, yes.
Well, hello, good evening.
How are you?
I am fine. What news do you bring? What news do you bring our committee, our little committee of 3 tonight so far?
So I'm at a slight disadvantage because of circumstances that have happened within my department. So I have no paperwork supporting anything for my budgets. It's all in my office.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay.
So I mean, I'm not really concerned. I know we're flatlining the budget. Highway side,
yeah,
I'm not really too concerned with. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is the amount of maintenance that the buildings are starting to require. You know, I will do our best to stay within whatever budget monies we receive, but a lot of things are just out of my control.
Sure. And was there anything on your, I'm also not looking at your budget sheets, which I probably should. Was there, when you say flatline, was there anything that was over and above?
For capital improvements?
Yeah.
So we had we had a new loader.
Regular budget. So then,
on the right, no, nothing really.
Okay. I'm sorry. So then under capital, you're saying you have you're looking for a loader?
Yeah, we had a front end loader on there. That's a replacement. The replacement of our brush chipper was on there, and also a purchase of a bucket truck, which was an addition to our fleet to do some tree work in town.
What brush chipper sounds like? Did we put that off? Was that last year and we put it off?
It wasn't on last year's, I don't believe.
No, or maybe I just saw it was. So has it been on their plan?
It could have been. It's getting old. It's a 1996 model.
Okay. What's happening with tree trimming? Is there anything in progress on that?
So as far as National Grid coming in, hopefully they'll be in here next week. But,
okay.
So we came up with a list of 1,000 trees, and they've come up with a list of 100. So it's going to be a battle.
All right.
Still,
so
100 trees is 100 trees less that we have to do. So.
Right. So is that what most of this has been driven, is being driven by utility? It's clearly being driven by utility work then, and trying to get them to do more of it?
We're trying to get them to do obviously as much as we can,
right.
But you know, they're I believe it's 20 feet to the side and 15 feet to the top. And if the tree doesn't, or the limb doesn't come into that zone, they don't, even though the tree's going to come down and land on the wires, they don't really care. So I'm working with a new guy. He seems really receptive to doing a little bit more than they really need to, because he gets the fact that if the tree comes down, it's taking the wires down with it. So even if we can con them into getting the tree down to at least to a level that we can handle it from the ground, would be a major advantage to the town.
Right. All righty. Does anyone else have anything for Dave on budget or capital items while I'm still searching for?
My question was, what you were discussing was in the capital request, and that's different than the other budget request that we're looking at, right?
Right. My budget didn't increase for next year.
Yeah, because I pulled up that from the file, and I didn't see anything outstanding on that. But can somebody bring up the capital that we were discussing? Or are you just doing that from memory right now?
Yeah, so I don't have any paperwork in front of me. I was Just so you know, I tested positive for COVID, and my office has been shut down, so I don't have access to my building or office or any paperwork.
Oh, bummer. So Stan, what you were talking about, were you looking at that, or again, are you going from like your last meeting?
No, I just was reminded of trees. He mentioned the loader, and he was talking about some things on capital. So I was just asking about trees.
Okay, so we would need to discuss that later then, when we have. I'm asking Dave because I'm still new to this, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding the process.
Would anybody, I mean, if you're interested in putting it up on the screen, that way Dave could see it too. Because I have paper and the drive files.
Okay,
here.
great, because we were discussing, if I understand, it's the capital expenses.
Okay. Well,
capital
right, so operating, I mean, you could start with the town buildings. So
okay,
if we pull that up, that would be the first logical step. So let me find that.
See, I'm where Janet was last week, and now I'm not finding any of my budget request sheets on Google Docs.
You're not?
Even though I opened them last week at the meeting.
That's weird.
I know.
I
have the capital, I have the FY21 revised capital project request, draft FY21.
Stan, there's two folders. One's just FY22, and then the other one's FY22 budget.
Yeah, Stan, I have them. They're on the drive copy that I'm accessing. FY22 budget.
FY22 budget, and they'd be in the subfolder called FY22 budget requests.
Yeah, I mean, I have TA FY22 budget summary form. Would there be tabs on that? But see, I'm also showing.
Let me look and see if somehow you were dropped here.
Sheet.
You should be here.
Because I looked at.
Yeah,
looking on my tablet and on my phone.
And it's not showing up, huh? Okay.
You're saying it should be called. What should it be starting with? What's the actual, like if I search for it, it would be called.
If you search, yeah, it's FY22 budget is the main folder.
Yep.
You're here, so.
We don't have FY22 budget as a main folder. I have FY22 draft.
All right.
FY22 draft.
I'm sending you the link.
Budget spreadsheet.
Stan, I'm sending you the link to the main folder again. Not sure why that's not working. Glitches. Okay.
Well, see, I think I opened it from your email the last time, but it should be on the Google. I mean, it should be on Google Drive. I shouldn't have to open it. I shouldn't have to open it through your.
No, you shouldn't. You're definitely on the list. I just checked the viewers of the file, and you're there. So something's not working right. That's all.
Yeah, and I don't know if Janet is on yet. She's saying she's having computer issues trying to get on.
So Stan, I had bookmarked the FY22 budget Google Drive. I bookmarked it, so I just went to my bookmark. So I don't know if I went to Google Drive, I might be experiencing the same thing you're experiencing, but I did it on the bookmark. So.
Well, but I mean,
there's Janet.
You had to bookmark
Janet,
it from...
I'll promote you. Okay,
yeah,
Janet's in.
I think I bookmarked it several weeks ago, and I had trouble too, and then I got the link from Margaret, and I bookmarked it when I got it from her, and so it's worked ever since.
For now, I'm happy to share screens, and we can kind of go in Dave's account here if you'd like. And I'll start with the municipal buildings. If this is municipal, yeah, this is municipal buildings, and Dave can just talk about what's in the municipal buildings line.
Is Julie not with us? Because
I'm with you.
Oh, I can't see you.
Yeah, whenever I stay on video, I start getting those warnings that my internet's unstable.
Oh, all right. I just didn't know if I was having the wrong. I'm having computer issues too. If my work computer just died, and this one here, I don't know what's wrong with it. So if I end up leaving, I apologize ahead of time. Mary Porter, can you remind me of what the name of the FY21 is, so I see Margaret shared it, but I'm looking.
It's called FY22 budget.
Thank you. When I put FY22 budget in, I get a facilities update from Mike Ginsberg.
Yeah, see, Janet and I are working on the same computer. We both seem to have issues pulling this stuff up. I have TA FY22 budget is the only thing now that's showing from what you just sent me, Margaret.
Really? Wow. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. I have budget spreadsheets as a main folder. When I go into that, I have FY.
I got it. I got mine now. Yeah. FY22
budget forms.
No. Yep. It says I got budget spreadsheet, FY22 budget forms, FY22 budget forms and instructions, FY22 budget requests. I just don't know which one I'm supposed to go into is my question.
The request. You go into FY budget request, FY22 budget requests.
I got it.
Then you need to scroll down to highway, or what are we on? What are we starting with?
Building.
Town buildings.
Which is what number?
192.
There's the little feller.
Scroll down.
Hey, it's the same number as last year. What a coincidence.
Why am I? Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay. 192. Here we go. All right.
Enjoying Google Drive? No.
And so, Dave, I'm just going to go right down here, and that way you can just discuss the backup.
Okay, so what do you want? Everything's the same as last year, basically.
I was going to say
it's all service contracts and expenses, and there's no changes. A slight adjustment and a couple of the. I try to get some hard numbers for some of the contracts that we have, but people don't want to project that far out. So I just went with maybe a 2 or 3% increase in a few of the contracts that we have that are ongoing.
What are the? It's in pink. What's that column, or in red? What does that represent?
It's the 1870 building. Those are expenses that the 1870 building incur on their own.
Oh, okay. These are specifically theirs. They pay through their funding.
Oh no, we pay for it. It's just
we pay for it. Okay.
It was they were getting to the point where they actually had some revenue stream and some of the expenses were being shared, but that's not going to happen this year with the lack of use over there. So.
Right. Oh, I'm so sorry. Ugh, okay. There. So the decrease in your proposed decrease in the expenses is $163 from last year. And the total decrease in the budget request is $164. I say last year from FY21. The part-time wages, just like all other wage lines, does not yet reflect the Personnel Committee's recommended COLA. That's a spreadsheet that we'll be doing separately to show the cost impacts of the COLA adjustments. Do you have any questions on this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll go on to electricity. Pretty basic. This covers the cost of electricity in all of our municipal facilities except for streetlights. As you know, the highway barn runs on an electric heating system, and that's a significant cost, and our electric costs are always increasing slightly. The costs are slightly unpredictable. The hope is to try to find a way to secure grants and get solar at the highway barn as was originally intended when the building was constructed. That would result in significant electricity savings, especially if it can be behind the meter. So that's something the Energy Committee is looking at now. We secured a Green Communities Technical Assistance Grant to have a consultant come in and actually study the plans that had been prepared and look at the building and the area around the building for solar potential, and then possibly help the town with a procurement on a solar system at the building. So
you remind us again, Margaret, why that didn't go forward as planned? Cost
overruns. It was cut when the cost started exceeding the town's appropriation or the borrowing amount.
And do we know how much of this 80,000 is attributable to the town building, to the highway building? I mean, how much it's gone up since, I mean, just as a way to, like, if we looked at the year before.
I don't know, is June, if June is here, she'd have a much better, I'm thinking.
The last page of that PDF, does that have a worksheet?
Oh, Lord.
I'm looking at.
It says when life was good.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what was...
This is when life was good. I don't, this is not, unfortunately, this is not going to show the breakdown by town buildings. Our two biggest users are the highway barn and 23 Linden. So,
what year did what year did the highway building
18.
go into? So fiscal 18. Year 17.
It was built in 18. I think it came online in
fiscal year 19.
Yes.
There you go. Good work, Scott.
$20,000 dollar jump.
Right.
So you can probably assume it's and it stayed, 20,000 into the next year. So it's probably pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you were kind of cutting out. So are we saying about 20,000 is attributable?
Yeah, well, if you're looking at that sheet there, it shows in from fiscal 17-18, it was at 40 and 46,000, and then in 19 and 20, it went up to 66 and both years 66,000.
Mm-hmm. The costs at the highway barn for electricity are significantly more in the winter, isn't that right, Dave?
That's
with
correct.
Your heating system, they're significantly more. So we're not seeing the full winter's impact in the current year yet. And $20,000 does sound about right. Yeah, and probably 20,000 or close to it for 23 Linden as well. We've also added a couple more electricity accounts I shouldn't say that. The Ag Commission is actually paying for their own electricity for the water pump at the community garden, but we are now going to have to pick up, it's not going to be a huge cost, but we have to pick up the cost of the curatorial building's new heating system. It's a mini split efficient system. It's not going to be a lot more, but every time we add things like that, our electricity costs are going to go up.
All right, so fuel is the same, right? Now that I'm fully depressed after talking about the electricity and not having.
Fuel is staying the same, and the town has done extremely well this year. Dave got right on the heating oil procurement when the costs were very low. Dave, how much? It was like it was at least 80 cents less a gallon than it was the prior year.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So hopefully we're going to be able to get our contract in place when heating oil costs are still reasonable.
And now the spreadsheet for fuel showing FY22 price. Today's price is between 149 and 199. Mm-hmm. But then down below that, it has.
Here are the costs right here. It's the lowest we've seen in the last 4 years in the current year. So all right, so it's projected then to be about hopefully it's going to be about 240 and not 249. We don't want to go over. But yeah, this year we're only paying 1.399 as opposed to last year it was 2.299.
Okay.
So for the budget, which number did it use? You're using 2 or 240, or it's the actual up higher?
All right. I mean, if we're at 140, our expense would only be 30,000. So
okay, you're budgeting, or you put in 50,000. Okay, which is flat. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's somewhere between the 2 and the 250 then. So we should actually beat that number then.
Oh, I think the town's going to do well this year. Yeah.
Well, it'll be nice to do well in one area.
That's right. Oh, we're probably going to do well in a lot of areas because we just can't, we can't spend on several things that we would normally be spending on. So at least this way, yeah, more free cash. All right. Any more questions on heating oil?
No.
Okay, let's jump down to Dave's highway. Okay. Oh. The materials. Here we go. Okay, I've put the page up with detail on highway.
So I heard you say that you're concerned about repairs. So the truck parts and repairs budget 15,000. Is there something that that is going to be a big repair you see that exceeding that?
Depends on if we get a new loader or not. Like I say, we have 2 pieces of equipment that need to be replaced, and because of their age and the amount of use they've seen over the last 20 plus years, it's requiring more money to keep them going.
What year is the new the old? I'm assuming this is the oldest loader.
Yeah, it's a 2000.
2000.
the Department of Labor Standards, who enforces OSHA regulations, also had to cite an issue or a couple of issues with the loader this year, because the department's been trying to keep parts welded on, and some of that. Dave, you can speak to that.
So we made some modifications that weren't necessarily illegal, but they weren't recognized. They were basically safety violations in the eyes of the labor board, the labor standards. So we had to remove some of the modifications we made, which the modifications that we did make, it made our work doing trees much easier. In place of buying a separate piece of equipment that we can use to pick up and move the logs around, the guys modified the buckets to do a job that they really weren't designed to do, and I guess we get caught. So there's no fine implied. It's just we had to remove the modifications we made.
So those modifications were just done for your own convenience and not specific to a repair.
Correct.
Okay.
What are the primary condition issues with the loader, Dave?
So it's very rusty. The panels are starting to come off of it. The floor in the cab is starting to go. The supports that hold the radiator and the oil coolers are pretty well. They're just kind of hanging. The radiator and the oil coolers are hanging there. I'm not sure why they haven't fallen out yet. It's just, I mean, it served the town well. It's just time.
Finance committee. Yeah, they can hear us. I'm kind of chuckling, Dave, at your $15,000 repair, because we can spend $15,000 on one repair at Mike Sawyer Contracting. So I don't know how you're going to do that with your whole fleet.
Yeah, how well I know.
So other than the front end loader, I mean, is there other ones that are, could they possibly causing you to go over that, or is it just the front end loader that's the real?
Well, the wood chip is my next concern. That's a 1996 model and has seen extensive work, and with the upcoming trees we have, it's going to see a lot more work. So,
Dave, how many pieces of equipment do you all have? I hate to ask that question, but are they all listed there? I just was curious because, one repair is like $5,000. So you multiply your equipment by 5,000 is probably more like what you should be guesstimating.
Well, so we have, it gets a little fuzzy because with the snow and ice budget, some of the repairs are split. Okay. So
I see.
We have two vehicles that are just dedicated snow and ice. That's all they do. They don't do anything else throughout the course of the year. So if, say, for instance, a transmission were to let go in one of those trucks, that's where that money would actually come out of my snow and ice budget.
I gotcha. Okay.
So
you got a little flush.
There's a little flexibility, but you're right. $15,000 for repairs is awful. It's cutting it tight.
Well, that's why I'm saying where $15,000 is like 3 pieces of equipment. I'm just curious. That's all.
But I mean, the equipment's in good shape. The guys do a great job of maintaining it. It's just, the two pieces I'm looking to replace, they're just age. It's time. Would they probably go another 2 years? Yeah, you could roll the dice and maybe they would, but they need to be on the radar. If they don't come this year, they need to be on the radar and be replaced fairly soon.
What are the numbers you have for the replacing the wood chipper and the loader?
The loader was 175 and the chipper was 80.
FinCom has access to should have access to the Google Drive containing all the capital requests for this year. So let me know if you're unable to find that, because I can certainly send you the link again.
Is it in the same folder or is it in a different one?
No, it's a different one. And tell you what, I will, oh man.
I don't see it, and I'm in all my folders. That's why I'm wondering. I'll search it.
Called Capital Planning Committee, I can tell you that. Let me stop sharing for a minute, and I can go in and go into that. Here it is. That's not, okay, we're not, oh, it's in FY22, okay. Here we go. The only one I don't have here yet is Scott Schultz, who I'll add now, because that predated.
Will this be at the same level as FY22 budget?
It is, it's just a different folder.
Okay.
And then I'll send the link to everybody else again, and hopefully that'll take care of it. And what am I doing? Here we go. All right. I just resent it to everybody else. You were already on there, but I resent it. So.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
No, I can see it.
It's under FY22?
Yes.
Okay, so it's same level. You have to go up to the, if you're in FY22 budget, you have to go up one level to see that directory.
Can I just say for the record, I miss live meetings. I miss live meetings. Budget requests. All right. Are you all? I know you're still talking about capital. Trying to think about other. Okay. All right. So for the heck of it, I'm pulling up snow and ice now. Dave's other FY22 request is a bucket truck. And that was requested last year with the wood chipper. The wood chipper, that's really old. Dave, is that 25 years old now?
It's 1996. So 20,
25 years old. All right, so the bucket truck, we had started talking last year about the possibility of maybe sharing a bucket truck with another community or other communities. And we searched around, contacted other communities, and the town of Clinton expressed an interest in sharing a bucket truck for various reasons, not the least of which was COVID. That kind of got sidetracked. And this year, the Community Compact has come out with an efficiency and regionalization grant. And we reached out to Clinton again, and they have expressed an interest again in possibly seeking a grant with Berlin for a shared bucket truck. So Central Mass Planning Commission will help us with the grant application on that. And yeah, and if we get a grant, they'd help us with the procurement and then with an intermunicipal agreement with Clinton. And I think, I don't know, Dave could speak to this more, but I think it might go far to serve our purposes. Yeah,
I think that's a great idea. There's already another, I think there's another group of communities, Rutland, Paxton, maybe.
Yes, it's, yeah.
And they share a truck, and I've talked to them about the ramifications, and they have, there's 4 towns involved in that, and they have one person from each town that's responsible for that truck. So when the next town takes the truck for whatever prescribed time is, I don't know if they do it for a week or a month or whatever, the 2 individuals that are from those towns that represent that bucket truck, they do a walk around, they have a checklist they go through. You know, that stuff does get damaged, it gets scratched, so there's notes made on everything that has happened to the truck. And additionally, each town puts in a few $1,000s a year for maintenance. So for oil changes, tires, basic stuff like that comes up. So, and it works. So I think it's something we really need to look into.
Yeah. They also contribute to the insurance cost for the truck, for equipping the truck. And Rutland, as the lead town, is the keeper of those funds. So they actually maintain a special fund where all those monies are kept to maintain the truck. I think, yeah, it seems like it could be a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, not like the street sweepers. I mean, the towns share street sweepers.
So, Margaret, would you look for Berlin or Clinton to be the lead town if you followed the model that's out there?
I'd defer to Dave, but it was our idea.
Yeah, I would like to have control of that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So this is, so we're on snow and ice at the moment here. Yes, we're on snow and ice at the moment. The total budget is increased by $4. Snow and ice cannot be reduced in any given year. So this satisfies the Department of Revenue's requirement that the snow and ice appropriation not be reduced. And snow and ice, as you know, is our only operating budget account that can be legally deficit spent with approvals. Dave, what about the cost of salt? What are you looking at for salt in? I know it keeps going up.
But it's actually gone down. It's crazy how the salt market runs, but I'm not sure what next year is going to bring. If the weather stays as it is, there's going to be an abundance of salt around, so I would anticipate the price would stay the same or maybe drop.
Oh, that would be good news. And no more buying sand, right?
No sand.
And why is that?
Once you put sand down, it becomes hazardous waste. When you pick it up in the spring, you have to dispose of it at $25 a ton.
Berlin doesn't have a street sweeper, right? Right, Dave?
We're a very nice street sweeper.
To use for other sweeping.
Well, you still have to sweep. We sweep twice a year. That's actually mandated. Catch basins and sweeping.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, and that's our. I thought we rented one. No.
No, the town. Just before Keith left, he bought a used one. It's in very great shape.
Wow. Oh, okay.
When did we stop purchasing sand? Is that rather recent or?
Since I've been here, so this is year number 3.
Okay.
And you're able, Dave, I don't know if you can, you'd be able to explain way better than me, but from what I understand, you're able to use less material by using salt only, right?
That is correct.
Okay,
so years ago, everybody, this was common practice, and I was guilty of it myself in former capacities. You'd mix 50-50 salt and sand. You'd open the door in the spreader, you'd run up the road, and you'd turn the chain in the spreader on till you see the salt and sand hitting both sides of the road, and you thought you were doing a good job. Well, in theory, you don't want the salt and sand in the gutter. You want it in the travel lane. So now we calibrate the truck several times a year. We put down 250 pounds of salt per lane mile, and we put the salt in the travel lane where it needs to be. So we don't even turn our spinners on anymore. The salt just trickles out of the truck. And by doing that, the last 2 years, we've actually bought the same or less salt than they have purchased over the previous 5 to 7 years. So the system works. And then we don't have to pick up the mess in the spring and deal with the disposal of the sand once it's picked up from the gutter and the catch basins. And it contaminates the wetlands. So we're not, everybody thinks we're using more salt, but we're using the same or less than we used to.
Okay, you say you've used about the same amount in the last 3 years as the previous 5 to 7. So
as they would use in the previous years. So we run between like 14 to 1,700 ton of salt per year, and those numbers have been consistent within a few ton over the last 7 years. So we have not increased our salt usage at all. And as a matter of fact, depending on the winter too, it makes a big difference. Last year we actually used less salt than previous years. The system works. You just have to get everybody on board. There's some naysayers that don't think it works, but I don't know if you've noticed, but our roads are in pretty good shape after a storm.
Yeah, they are. I have noticed.
It's clean too. Isn't it nice to drive through town and not see all that muck on the snowbank?
Yeah.
It is. All right, want to move on to streetlights. I just had that up. Streetlights. All right, Dave, want to give a quick snapshot of streetlights?
So this is all new territory. We're not sure what's going to happen with this, but we do need some money set aside for maintenance. Additionally, we need some money for our replacement or reinstalling of lights in case of an accident or a storm where a street light is damaged or taken off of a pole. Some of the accident money could be reclaimed through the insurance companies, but we still need money to front the repairs and replacement in order to get the light back up. We don't have a lot of lights in town. I think we have 70, but that's all this represents is some money in a budget. We may not use any of this. I don't know, what to expect, but we need to have some type of a budget to start with.
So where the town used to pay the utility for the fixtures, we now own the fixtures. And like Dave said, we would be responsible for replacing those fixtures. The LED fixtures are supposed to last, at least 10 years, right, Dave?
It's closer to 20.
Oh,
they start losing efficiency after around 10.
Okay. But we would have to replace them. If a pole goes down, we'd have to replace the fixture. We'd have to hire a crew because Dave explained just recently that there needs to be, I think it's a licensed lineman or a certified lineman to do that work. So,
that's correct.
We don't have a lineman on staff.
So we did talk briefly with Boylston about using them to come over at an overtime rate. They had a proposal that was fairly appealing, and it wouldn't cost the town a lot of money. But it's that was just when the lights, before they even got installed, we were trying to come up with some way to have some kind of a maintenance contract. But even if we had to hire, a private contractor, if they get a minimum 4 hours, if it wasn't a 911 emergency, if a light came down because of an accident, I think you might be able to wait and maybe you could wait 3, 4, 5 months and hopefully have them come in and do more than just one light and get your money's worth. But that's just my thought.
Any other questions on streetlights?
Do you know what the approximate cost is of just the material or the actual light fixture itself if you have to replace?
The head itself, I believe, is around $200. But chances are, if the pole gets hit and it comes down, you're replacing the what do they call those things? The Cobra head, the actual arm that comes off the pole, and that's another $300 or $400. Believe it or not, they're more than a fixture.
Okay, so you're somewhere in the neighborhood of up to $600, $500 to $600, just for the material.
That's correct.
This is also for the electricity part of it that we have to pay.
Which, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, which is significantly decreased. But again, those costs have shifted to the fixtures and the and the maintenance on those fixtures.
So the electricity cost is included in this 9,000?
Correct. If
About
Margaret,
how
if you
much
go
is that?
down to the next page.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Whereabouts is?
Right there.
Oh, right
So
down here.
we're estimating it roughly the 2,500, give or take a few, for the street light costs. And then Dave gave us an estimate of roughly about $5,000, maybe more, maybe not. So we just left it level, cut it a little bit, but it's pretty much level funded just because we have no idea what this year is going to bring until, you know, we get a full year owning our own lights and seeing how much it is going to actually physically cost when we have to have a replacement.
Okay. Any other questions on streetlights? Okay, let's go to what's next numerically here. Let's go. Is that it? That is actually it, isn't it? Wow. Okay.
I can't believe that's all that Dave does. There's got to be more.
Right.
Buildings, facilities, lights.
So then how are you feeling, Dave? Are you you feeling okay then?
I feel fine. I have showed no symptoms or signs, and it's kind of frustrating, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
At least if you exhibited some signs, you could say, "All right, I'm sick." But
Get a little sympathy, get more sympathy. Yeah.
I'm not sure I need that, but it's you think you'd like to be, you know, stuck in your house until you're actually there.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds good on paper. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Hold up.
We're doing the same thing at 102 Derby Road too, so I feel for you.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. We get out of Dodge on Friday.
Oh. It's amazing how COVID hits people different people differently. It's just absolutely, it's merciless with some, and with others, nothing.
You know, it's just bizarre.
Well, Dave, I hate to say it, but I really hope that you just hate being home. I hope you're miserable just because you're home. Let's say that.
So they have, those are Corona light cases, right?
Yeah.
Just buy some beer and stay.
Corona's light, but anyway, yeah. All righty. Are we all set with this young man?
Yeah. Who are you looking at?
Well, you don't have your video up, so I'm just guessing.
I'm doing you a favor by not putting it up.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else for Dave, Stan. It all seems to make sense once Margaret put up the numbers. Everything seems to be in order there. So, and
yeah. All righty. Well, thank you, Dave. I appreciate your time, and hope you're out of jail soon.
All right. Well, thank you, and have a good evening.
Thanks.
Thank you,
You
Dave.
too.
You too, Dave.
See ya.
So Eloise up next.
She's not here. She's not here. So why don't I
So we zero out our budget then? Okay, got it.
I know. All right, let me go to her budget and see if we can try to explain it here. I mean, really, there's so little change. Okay, so this one was marked up quite a bit. All right. And wages, I don't have to repeat that again. This year, in FY21, the dog license revolving fund was closed out, and the $600 began being captured in Eloise's expense budget. So that $600 is here again. All right, I'm gonna flip to my sheet with a lot of stickies on that one. Here it is.
So, Stan, remind me, who's our liaison to finance? Do we have one? Since Mike Ginsburg left?
Capital planning, you mean, not finance?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
It's me. There's a meeting tomorrow night.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I got things inverted there. Thank you.
We tried to have a meeting. What happened, Margaret? They didn't have a quorum or something. Remember, we all showed up or something, and that was right before the holidays, right?
No, actually, there might have been one there too, but this past meeting, the Zoom information didn't get posted on the meeting agenda.
I knew there was something.
Yeah. So it was missing a location, which is not a legit posting. So
okay. It comes to my phone, so I know I didn't miss one, but it's tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Yeah, right before coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
All right, so I don't know. There's no bottom line difference. Everything, while there might be June, I should.
Yes.
For whatever reason, okay, so for whatever reason, Eloise has just shifted $200 in the FY22 column between the other services, and I'm
going to go out on a limb and say that was supplies.
Office supplies, yeah. So, but the bottom line expense budget is level funded. The bottom line budget is level funded. So
yes.
If anybody has any questions, we could try to answer.
No, I mean, I think that's
okay.
Straightforward.
Okay, next is elections. FY22, it's an even numbered fiscal year, which means it's a one election year. So the costs have decreased significantly from $7,700 down to $6,095 for elections to reflect the reduction in the number of elections. Okay, and registration. Same thing, there's been a slight decrease in this cost. The $100 in the elected salaries line is actually a statutory stipend that is paid to town clerks who serve as clerks of the Board of Registrars. The part-time wages line was reduced by $1 because I'm sorry, by $101. That $549 in the personnel services line actually does reflect minimum wage times X number of hours, where before it was just kind of a rounded number. So that's been just brought down to be more accurate. So there's a reduction in the bottom line of this budget based on the reduced voter registration activity. Okay.
Why is this a whole separate budget? Why is this just not part of town clerk?
I don't know, but to be honest with you, in every community I've been in, and I've also been a clerk, it's always been separate. Always been separate. There's separate elections and separate registration. So
yeah,
it's very standard. Yeah.
And we have to record it separately with the state too.
Yeah, I guess it's probably because it varies, but the numbers are probably fluctuating year to year without.
Yeah. And Eloise gets
it was just
yeah, she gets the Secretary of State's office and actually the state auditor's office through legislative votes actually does reimburse the towns for the extra polling hours for state elections. So every other year we do see a reimbursement come through, and that's based on the elections budget. So so like June said.
Yeah, right. So I'm sure that's I'm sure that's all part of it. Just accounting for it separately and all that.
And I'd like to add a fun fact is that this year the state took it upon themselves to send us a check for $505 and some change for reimbursement for extra postage that was needed for the absentee ballots, etc. So
excellent.
Thought I would throw that out there.
Did that cover all the expense or just
it did not. They didn't actually ask us to fill out anything. They just automatically sent it to us without any explanation. So
yes, kind of a scary thought, but the state is pretty much handing out money to try to relieve municipalities this year. It's been very interesting, right, June?
It is very, because now we have to deduct that from the actual CARES reimbursement we were asking. So yeah.
And speaking of the CARES reimbursement and the coronavirus relief funds that municipalities have received through the CARES Act, what we found out last week, after the extension, they extended the CARES Act and the coronavirus relief funds until December 2021. We are going to have to file quarterly reports all the way to June of 2022.
Possibly. It's not a definite, but they put it there, which is very scary to see.
We are going to be busy for a very, very, very long time. It's just a never ending.
But I refuse to get used to it. Totally
No,
refuse.
never get used to it. Never going to get used to it. It's tough. Okay, so that's it for registration. And then the last one would be veterans for tonight, right? That is 543. Here we go. Okay, there's really minimal change here. The adjustment in the wages is because the salary is based on minimum wage, which is going to be adjusted to $14.25 in January of 2022. So that increase reflects that. Veterans, Jim has asked for an extra $5 in his postage line to reflect the cost of first class stamps. And this year, when we reduced, when we kind of went across the board and revised budgets due to COVID, we revised the veterans benefits expense down closer to the benefits that the town was actually paying out. So that went down $6,000. No, I'm sorry, it went down a little over $5,000 in FY21. It was reduced by. There has not been an increase in the number of beneficiaries this year. And as you know, the number of beneficiaries could increase anytime during a fiscal year. And our benefits costs that we have to pay out can also change, and it could change dramatically in the middle of any fiscal year. We do get a 75% reimbursement from the state for those veterans benefits, but that usually lags about 18 months behind the fiscal year in which those benefits are paid out. So we do see some of it come back. It just takes a year and a half to get those back, typically. I don't know, June, do you have anything else to add on the?
No, that was very good. Very good.
Okay. All right, any questions on veterans benefits? Okay. There, then I'm gonna stop sharing. I need you to, all of you to just tell me if you're unable to get into any of the folders, please let me know, and I'll go in and see if we've got a problem with the access settings.
No, I'm sure it's me, Mark. I get it when you send them out. It's getting them later through the. I'm sure it's just a poor functioning of Google Drive on my part. So. Do we have anything else on our agenda for this evening? Sorry, I had to lay down for a second.
The minutes, because
right.
I realized I sent them out for December 9th a while back, December 16th and January 6th. And I made the changes, I think Mary had suggestions for 2 of them, and so I made edits to those.
Yeah, Mary's our detail person. Thank you, Mary.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'd like to get the big picture, Stan. I'm still working on it.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, well, okay. I did think we should acknowledge Scott's existence. So, you know, it's official existence.
Yes.
We have his picture there. I mean, how could we not acknowledge his existence?
I know this is,
and it's people, moving and everything.
Yeah. For people that go on the town website there and look at our minutes, you know, it would be nice for those people. To...
Well, the next thing, I'm a bit swamped again, unfortunately, is I noticed on the town website there's 2 locations where it's really off on who the members are. When you go under to look at the actual meetings that are coming up.
Yep.
It still has Janet as expired. It has Buzz listed. It has me. I don't think it has Scott. I'm not sure how that gets updated.
Well,
I think I'm expired because I don't know if legally I've been sworn in. You're laughing, but I feel expired after the last 14 days. Let me tell you.
Janet, you're clearly breathing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, barely.
You probably just need to check with Eloise just to make sure that.
Yeah. What do? Go on a Zoom with her? How do you even do that?
Well, it was a 60-second process of raising my hand and signing the book. And she's met me at the entrance to the municipal building.
Maybe I can get down there. I've been down a few times in the places like Fort Knox, and I don't blame you. That's not a slam or a fault. I don't want it to be like that. But it is difficult right now, so I can call her.
Yeah, just call her or email her, and she, unless there's something Barry may have to do too.
No, she's spoken to me. We just have to
okay.
Do the I swear.
Yeah, that I was there last Wednesday. Like I said, it was 1 minute.
We're actually, town staff are doing website training tomorrow. There are only a few people that really have a good handle on website updates. That training is going to be recorded, and you know, we'll certainly ask how boards and committees can access their own web pages to update information.
Okay.
and make that recording available to FinCom. So
that would be helpful. Yeah, so
What
it's this
is-
one. And then when you go under the town for all the meeting notices,
oh, My Town Government.
yes.
Okay.
See how easy
So when-
that was?
So when you go and look under select FinCom under board and committee.
You can just click it also in the meetings too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This also.
I see.
needs-
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it looks like somebody had gone in and started to make edits because Mike's updated.
All right. So that's definitely an Eloise question because
Okay.
I don't know that that's an editable field for anybody who has just general access to update meeting postings. So
Okay.
James or Eloise might be able to handle that.
Okay. So for approving the minutes, I'm sorry, I'm still kind of new to this. Do we have to do anything other than say they're approved?
I make a motion to approve the minutes is what we have to do. Can we
Okay.
approve them all in one swoop?
You sure can.
Well, let me just, do you have a motion on the table there,
Oh,
Janet?
no. I was just answering her question as to how we do it.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I don't have a motion on the table.
So,
Okay.
yeah. And I have a question, Julie, whether you're planning to use the emails that you sent out as the minutes.
I've been saving them as Google Word docs,
Okay. Yeah.
but I'm using the exact, whatever is in the text that's in the last email.
Okay.
You know, like when I put in the correction. And the
Yeah.
reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm assuming everybody has different computer systems. And if it's in an email, everybody sees the same email. But if you want to open a document, you don't have Word or you have trouble with Google or whatever, that seems more complicated.
Okay. Yeah.
Now my next thing is I have to learn how to put that up on the website.
Oh, that is you know what? I was good until COVID hit because I used to bring my minutes to James. He walked me through it. I can do it a snap in front of him the minute I come home and try to do it. So there are no minutes for FinCom from COVID on, and it's on me, and I understand that. But I have sat all through Christmas vacation trying to figure it out, and I can't. I'm going to keep working on it this week, and hopefully I'll get them up there.
Okay.
But it's like I said, I did 4 or 5 of them with James standing behind me, and I get home and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's not hard. So I'm looking for her minutes, and all I'm pulling up is the January 6th ones.
Oh, what are you talking about? Email, Janet?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, Julie sent them both out like back to back. They're together. And then she sent out a revised one after I said the thing about Scott joined us that day.
Oh, well, it would help if I got in the right email. Oh, I see it. I'm sorry. Yep.
Julie, can you PDF an email?
Maybe. I've never, I don't think I've tried to do that. Let's see.
Are you in Outlook or some other system?
I do everything in Google.
Oh, okay.
It's what we use for work, so.
Yeah, okay.
But let me,
Outlook, you can certainly print to PDF and from an Outlook email, but
I've done the to PDF for other files, but what I can do is, let me see if it will let me do share screen.
did Stan take a nap? Is that what's going
No,
on?
I'm with
No,
you.
I was just thinking that
I had to
too.
lay down. My neck was killing me. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Stan. I didn't mean to.
So, I'm
No,
sharing. Did I successfully share screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So this is the one I sent on December 9th.
Yeah, I feel like we should take them separately rather than in one lump sum.
Okay.
Somehow it feels more
official.
Yeah, official.
Okay.
So we need to start with this. Was it December 9th? Is that what we just said?
Yes.
So does everyone have that at this point? If so, I would accept a motion for approving them.
I move to approve the December 9 minutes.
I'll second it.
Do we need any further discussion on them? Hearing none, I'd say roll call vote. Stan, aye.
Mary, aye.
Janet, aye.
Scott, aye.
Julie, aye.
Sounds like unanimous to me, 5-0.
Okay. Now this is the one that June needs.
The 9th or the 16th?
The 16th.
16.
Okay.
Yep.
This is on the screen now.
Getting a nod, but there we go. I don't know what that was.
I'll make a motion to accept the December 16th Finance Committee minutes.
I'll second that.
Do we need any further discussion on these?
Not from me.
No.
All right, hearing none, roll call vote. Stan, aye.
Mary, aye.
Janet, aye.
Scott, aye.
Julie, aye.
Looks like it passes 5-0 as well.
Okay, and then the final one. Here we go. This is last week's.
January 6th, right? Do I have a motion for these minutes?
Yeah, I move that we approve these. I move to,
Second.
I motion to approve, yes.
Second.
Any further discussion on these? Or any questions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Stan, aye.
Mary, aye.
Janet, aye.
Scott, aye.
Julie, aye.
Sounds like another ringing 5-0 endorsement of Julie's quality work.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. What else do we have, kids?
So I have a technical question. Should I send this directly to June so she has the one she needs for?
I would like that if you could do that.
Okay.
Just make sure that on the bottom of it, it just says approved with today's date on it, just so that way there.
So if I do this, and today's date is
13th.
13. Yeah.
Then do what, 550? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Yep.
voted.
Yep. That looks wonderful.
thank you.
Much
Really does.
appreciated.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry.
Did you hurt yourself, Stan?
No, I don't know. Just every once in a while, I just get like this, just a really deep, right between my shoulder blades. Just, and it helps to
Sorry.
lay down. Growing old's not for sissies, as my mom always says.
So everyone's getting tired, but I just wanted you to know that if you do have access to that FY22 budget folder, I did update the spreadsheet today based on 2 new budget requests that were received today. One was the Worcester Regional Retirement System, which actually only went up 3.4%, not the usual whatever 10% or more.
We should call that a victory, huh?
That's what kind of a victory? Kind of, I guess. Dennis had actually projected a lot more, so I've reduced the amount to the actual that came in from Worcester.
Did you say a lawnmower? Dennis asked for a lawnmower?
No,
What,
lawnmower. Did I say a
the only one that
lawnmower?
heard that?
Did I say a lawnmower or a
That's what
lawnmower?
a lawn. It sounded like a lawnmower, and I'm like, how is Dennis?
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
we were talking about lawnmowers at the personnel committee meeting right before yours, so maybe I did say lawnmower.
I was hearing an odd sort of humming on coming kind of feedback about 3 minutes ago. I was wondering maybe that was the lawnmower.
That could have been a lawnmower.
It's an electric lawnmower.
I'm sorry.
Dennis requested a lawnmower. No, and then the other one was sick pay. June has tried to project that as accurately as possible, and so you'll be able to see the budget request in her notes on sick pay. At this point, every single municipal department has submitted the budget requests. We are now just waiting for the intergovernmental.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah. So we're going to be working on, like I said, we're going to be working on the wage adjustment spreadsheets. And when I present those to the board, they're going to be in one batch. I don't want to do that in phases. I will do a separate spreadsheet, present it to the board just as that is. And once that is through the board, we will have had the board review and accept recommendations on almost all the municipal departments' budget lines. So we're getting really close. We've made a lot of progress there. Now we just have to see what the school district's going to come in at.
Always the big question mark.
It is. Stan and Chris and I will be talking to Bob Conry and Jeff on Friday for a preview. And so at your next FinCom meeting, I'm sure there'll be some sort of update. We're going to give our input as well on limitations in revenues and the COVID effects that we've seen economically. And so they can better understand our position. Okay.
Say, Margaret, these are these sessions that we do, these meetings are recorded. Are they on the My Government Town website? The recordings?
You can get a link to the meetings, the recorded meetings, through the Cable Access Committee's webpage, and then you can click on the YouTube link.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone have anything else?
All right.
Janet? No? Scott? Julie?
Nope.
Alrighty. I will call it then and say the meeting is adjourned.